Hey guys, welcome back to another FPL video, the first one for this season. And in this video, we'll be talking about some game week one dilemmas and then reviewing my team at the end of the video. And I'll walk you through what decisions I am struggling with, which are even popular in the community, what is the logic I'm using to solve them, and something that you can implement too. It's a short overview. I'll be discussing Wirtz or Bruno, or a 7.5 million forward. Mark Goe because will he start because he's important if you're going Bruno, and the best 5.5 or budget options. Let's straight dive into it. Verse versus Bruno is a very popular debate in the community right now, and I've seen the community shield final. I've seen the preseason games for Bruno, and I think it's a very clear choice for me. It's Bruno Fernandes. There's not much debate here. I think that should be happening. He is very good for DEFCON points, and he's most likely to get a similar number of assists plus goal involvements like Wirtz does. He's also on penalties, which is going to be a factor going into Man United games. Mbuemo, Cunha, Dorgu, and even Sesko can win penalties. They're very agile in the box, and they're very and they're making runs into the box in the preseason as well, like very involved in the box. So I think there will be a lot of opportunity there for Bruno. Plus the fact that he will get assists too. He's on the set pieces from the left side of the goalpost, so that's interesting. But yeah, I think between the two, it's pretty clear. I would go Bruno. But the next sort of set of question is if you're is Bruno really worth it? Sort of the next piece of question: do you really want to jump on Bruno? Now I've deep dive into this is sort of his heat map from his last game against Florentina. He is also DEFCON point, so he's really good for defensive contributions. He will hit that plus 2 points almost every other game. So his baseline is definitely 4 points because he will play the 90 and plus 60 minutes. So you're looking at a player who's getting 4 points definitely. If he gets any involvement, which is assist or a goal, he's hitting the three bonus points because he is so creative. He creates a lot of chances and big chances, which contribute a lot of his bonus points. And you've seen that last season as well. If let's say the such striker scores more or like a player scores a brace, he's more likely to get a 2 point bonus, but at least that's the floor we are looking at. The only problem is his number of shots will drop. I had put out a tweet on Twitter which showed like his shots inside the box and goals inside the box, and he's only scored penalties from inside the box last season. So there were not many in the box goals, which I think will continue. But the only problem is that he'll arrive outside the box slightly more late. Last season, he was more promptly there. He was more in and around the box while the play was also building up. I think this season he'll be slightly later. He'll miss those chances. He'll try to fluff those quicker. So his accuracy will slightly dip. So I think the number of goal contributions will slightly dip down. All the assist potential stays the same. He could still put in a lot of crosses and get those assist points. Personally, I feel like he's really worth the 9 million to start with, even with the fixtures that you have. I think I don't have a problem. And it's also the comparison versus the 7.5 million forward that I put up in the start. Is that do you think any other forward, be it Jao Pedro, Mateta, or would consistently get these number of points? Because you're competing with a player who's guaranteed almost 4 points every other game. I think that is where he edges it more, and the bonus point conversation between forwards and Bruno is pretty much nullified because of his creativity. The only downside I feel is that if you go Bruno, you're more or less likely to go Mark Guehi, which is sort of my next point. Is he really worth it? And will he start? I've seen a lot of talk and chat around the Chelsea community deep dive into this, and I feel that he most likely has a clause of number of starts. I think even Athletic posted that, so he will get starts. That's for sure. I don't think he'll be up and running in the first few games of the season because he hasn't played preseason for them at all. He's got 0 minutes, so I think he'll start coming on as a sub in the first couple of games. Maybe give me 3, 4, 5, but how I want to view Mark Guehi and how I think you can use him is that think about him as a one pointer bench boost player. So think about the game weeks where Sunderland have an easy fixture. It could be Brentford in game week 3, Burnley in game week 2, and just consider it as a one pointer in your bench boost and see if you can play your bench boost chip with the other set of players you have. I think that's how you use Gohi. I wouldn't really start him, so it's just a placeholder for that bench boost. Just save you a lot of money, allows you to pivot easily. So if you're going Gohi, I think it's fine, but don't consider it as a starter. I don't think he'll start at least the first 6 games. I don't see him starting at all. There's a broader perspective of the fixture ticker as well, and sort of the 5.5 million midfielder category discussion. I think there are four players to look at in that category. If you go six, there's Paqueta too, but I think four which stand out is Anderson. You have to look at Sar, who's doing good. He's slightly forward with the absence of Madison. There's Reinders, from Man City, and there is the Wolves midfielder as well, who's there. There are other options in terms of Malin and Wilson, sort of these set of players. Defensively, there are four. Where my ranking and my opinion lies, I think Reinders is by far the better players. He is the player who arrived late to the box. So those cutbacks, those deflections outside the box, that's where he'll thrive the most. And he's a good hitter of the ball. So I think he will thrive in terms of assists and some goals. And plus, he will constantly hit, most likely constantly hit that 12 defensive contribution mark as well with the 2 point bonus. So I think that's why he's first on my list. Anderson is equally good for DEFCONs. The only difference is that he doesn't have the goal threat that Reinders has for Man City. And I think with Kovacic and Rodri out, he's more likely to pay, even if in a defensive role. Let's say he's not bombing forward that much, he's playing more defensive. I'm fine with that because he'll get those contributions faster. His baseline again increases to 4 points. If you're 5.5 million midfielder, let's say you have to play him, is getting a baseline of 4 points each game. I don't mind that. I'll happily take that over a Mark Gui who may not start. So I think Reinders is first for me. Second is Anderson, because of the baseline. Again, he will score those 2 points most games of the others, and he also scored the fifth point because of the clean sheet potential. Next, I have Wilson over Marlon. With Marlon, there is that now this Gusant has been signed. There's the other factor that there are options on the wing, so he's not like an out and out starter for Villa yet. I think he's a 60-minute man any which ways if he starts, but there will be games given how they will rotate. I don't think he'll start all games. So there is slight risk there. I would rather go Wilson, who's nailed on. They're going for a new winger on the left, which is pretty explosive. So should help Wilson to drag in, get inside the box, or get inside as a forward and shoot more as well. Through the responsibility of creativity, slightly will drop down on him. And I think that's a good part. I think Fulham signing a new winger on the left side is good for Wilson. So I think that's third on my list. The between Sar and the Wolves guy, I think it's pretty hit and miss. I think I wouldn't really depend on Sar too much because they are going for options. As far as I read today, Savinio is an option for Spurs, so they will look like to fill that hole as soon as possible in the number 10 role, and he'll go back to the defensive contribution part. If you want to save the 5 million there, you can go for him. He's definitely better than Baleba and other options available, but I would definitely look to invest the 5.5 million there and get someone like a Wilson or a Reinders. I think Wilson is slightly equal or better than Anderson too. If I have to really criticize and go into it, because the explosivity ceiling is there. So is just due to the starting fixtures being too bad for Fulham, is he's down on the list in the list. If the fixtures turn around better or they're performing really good, I think he will be much higher on the list there. But yeah, about that, that's the 5 million sort of category. I am looking at. I mean, I will show you in my team soon. What I'm looking at is currently this draft where there are certain players who are nailed. Now I'm going with the double Nottingham Forest defense because the thought in my head is my fifth defender was Aaron Van Bissaka, the other option was Dorgu. Both high on assist potential, high on goal potential, but very low on clean sheet potential. So when I look at the start of season, if I want to really build strong and go faster, I think I like these options where I can play Gabriel almost all games. I can play Williams almost all games. And the third defender can be between Richards and Enna. Or if I have Milenkovic, if I don't go Bruno, I'm most likely going there. I can play him as first choice, and between Williams and Richards, I can keep switching, which is a decent rotation when you look into it. They don't have tough fixtures on the same game weeks, they rotate very well. And I think that's a good back three to have. You can double down on the Nottingham Forest defense as well. They're really solid preseason for clean sheets. Last season, we seen them, they were very good defensively. In the midfielder spot, I am Palmer, Ndiaye, Salah, and Reinders are pretty nailed. I think I'm going these four. I've given a thought about Ndiaye a lot. He is not the output guy. I don't think he's that much output. Since I'm already going Mateta, I don't think I need to go Sar. So I'll just wait and watch in that role, see how it goes and progresses, and then probably switch to a 5.5 million or look elsewhere. I think for now, to start, he's good. The other option I considered at 6 million was Paqueta, but I think he's more better. He's got pens too. He's slightly out of position. Everton, if they click with given the easy fixtures, he could score a couple of goals early in the season. Bruno Fernandes is a sort of debate I'm having too, but for now he's in my team. There's Mark Gui, Mateta, and Watkins. I had Jao Pedro till yesterday. What's going through my head to remove Jao Pedro and keep Mateta is the fact that Jao Pedro is most likely to play 60 to 65 minutes every game. And some games could be extended if it's a tough match, if they need goals, if they need creativity. But most likely, if the game is comfortable, if it's in, if the lead is, let's say, 2-0, Chelsea, or even 1-0 at times, Chelsea would not want to play him. They can put in Delap and just put him off, and because Chelsea Delap can score too. Unless the game is really tight and like a 0-0 or a 1 all, I don't think he'll play beyond the 60-65 minute mark. So in my thought process, do you want a striker who's one playing those many minutes versus Mateta, who's on pens, which is with Jao Pedro is not, and is also in form, who's a streaky player, is in form, has got middling fixtures, but Crystal Palace are anyways overperforming. So can Mateta compensate? So that's in my head too. And even the second part of the equation is also, if I pick Jao Pedro as my third forward, is most likely downgrading Bruno Fernandes. Do I think Jao Pedro has the explosivity to match a Bruno Fernandes baseline? That's the conversation I was having. And in my head, I don't think that's very likely. Like in the first couple of games, I think Chelsea will do well. They've got good fixtures to start with. They've got Crystal Palace, West Ham, Fulham. But beyond that, then they play other teams, and it slightly gets trickier there. If let's say Jao Pedro clicks in too much and if he fires, I can always downgrade Bruno to a Jao Pedro, like a two move switch. That's in my head. That's definitely an option that I'm thinking, because Fulham is not that easy. The first two are fine. Crystal could be tricky. West Ham, I think, is an easy game for Chelsea. Fulham will be tougher because they're defensively good. So for now, that's in my head. The other draft that I've been talking about is the Wilson Jao Pedro draft. There are three different players. I think I have Milenkovic over Ena. I have Wilson instead of Bruno, and I have Jao Pedro instead of Mark Guay. That's the only three differences that I'm considering. This is the only core lineup that I'm thinking I'm going ahead with. Kelleher, if he's injured, then I would look at the other options. If he's injured, I would most likely go Milenkovic to a Aaron Van Bissaka and Kelleher to a Cells, because that's easier, safe, and then I can switch around the keeper easily too. It would save me some money as well in that situation. But yeah, those are the drafts and those are the thought that I have. Just come back to our game week one dilemmas page. This is just like short dilemma thought that I've been having, that have been encountering myself and thinking about them constantly and sort of trying to decide. I think the double Nottingham Forest is sort of a differential route that I want to take. It's also double downing on the bet that they are defensively great. And I think there is enough ceiling with Van Bissaka, but I would rather go with the baseline clean sheets than the ceiling. I think the clean sheets generally tend to cover up more. Plus, with the defcons, if they keep a clean sheet, there's more likelihood of defcons and also bonus. So this, I think the floor of those players, Nottingham Forest players on clean sheet days, is really high. That's why I'm going there. But let me know if you have more dilemmas. I can do a second part of this before the deadline and let address your dilemmas and tell again, bring up my final draft as well. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We're doing this back after a year, I think. If you have more dilemmas, comment down below, and I will cover them up in the next video before this game weekend starts. But yeah, that's it for this time. I hope to see you guys soon in the next video. This is FPL Tips signing off. Cheers.